Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 231 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. I am a speaker and a two-time author. Our second book is called From Letters to Leaders, Redefining New Member Education and Leveraging Belonging to Eliminate Hazing. So go and pick that up on Amazon today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there's nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, I truly believe in this concept of abundance. There are competitors in our industry, and I give hugs and say hi to all of them when I see them at major conferences all over the country. There is more than enough business for all of us, so I really don't even view them as competitors. They really are just people that are helping the fraternity and sorority system be the best that they can be, and I'm glad for their help because they might be helping a particular client today. I know that I'll have the opportunity to work with a stronger client next semester because of their work. The need for mentors and reducing risk on college campuses is not going to go away anytime soon. So the question is, how can we all help and depend on each other more in order to reach our mutual goals? So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our next guest, Judy Balloff. I'm going to tell you about her life. She has been a nurse, an aerobics instructor, a banker, a retail manager, a financial advisor, a mom, a grandmother, and also a spouse. She has worn lots of hats and lived in many different cities, but it's only in the past year, really, that she found true happiness and abundance in every aspect of her life. Since she started following the principles that are laid out in this book that she wrote, it's called 365 Days of Abundance, and she has been the healthiest she has ever been. She finds herself for the first time in her life with absolutely nothing to complain about. We should all get to that point. Her business has seen wild success, and her marriage and her friendships are now stronger than ever. Judy is going to tell you all about how she does it. So I can't wait to hear about it. Welcome to the show, Judy.
Oh, thank you, Michael. I am thrilled to be here.
Well, we're very lucky to have you. I know you're going to be moving to Tennessee some point soon. So we're super excited about that. We get to be closer to you, and I get to hang out with you and your husband. We're going to have a good time in Nashville. That's what I'm seeing in the future.
That's what I see in the future too, so it's got to happen.
Let's make it happen. So, as I mentioned, your life, you've done just about everything. You've got a little bit of everything in your past, but in the past year specifically, you found true happiness and abundance in every aspect of your life. I'm just wondering, what did you finally discover?
I discovered through the pathway that many of us take. Your students probably haven't heard of this book, but you remember Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yes.
Think and Grow Rich. Well, we all picked it up. I was a banker back in those days, and we picked it up and we read it. We kept looking for the secret to get lots of money. That's what we wanted, lots of money.
Sure.
We figured that was what made you happy. Lots of money, right? Everybody always asks, what do you make in that job? What do you make in that job? And especially in college, what career should I go into so that I can make lots of money in the future? Mm-hmm. That's the big question when you're picking a major, right? Almost for everybody. So I took a course that was offered by my company called Principles of Prosperity. Once again, there's that money thing in there, right? I got so deep into these principles. They were the principles from Think and Grow Rich. And you kept hearing repeated over and over little references to the 12 universal laws. And I'm like, what are those? I asked my study group, anybody know what the 12 universal laws are? Nobody did. So I decided to research it. I started studying. I have 100 books on my floor in stacks from all the research I did. It's incredible. You get reacquainted with, poets and great writers and thinkers. And all of a sudden I got the inspiration January 2021. And I wrote the book in 8 months, got up at 5:30 every morning. In college kids, that's not my stick. I don't do that. I'm not an early riser. But when you have a passion, when you have an inspired action for what you're supposed to do, you will do whatever it takes. I got up at 5:30 on vacation and wrote every single day because I had a goal to get it done to get it edited and get it out by Christmas. All of a sudden, I'm 3 or 4 months through writing the book and I realize how happy I am. And I hadn't even sold the book yet or made any money from it. I was just so happy. And I looked back at the last couple of years and I'm like, I haven't been sick. I'm getting along with my daughter who's on the opposite spectrum of political discussion from me. Everything in my life was working. And I realized that I was internalizing those 12 universal laws, using them in everyday situations where I got disappointments. I'm in the insurance investment industry where there's all kinds of declines and customers who don't come with you, disappointments. In my early days, 5 years ago, I'd be in tears sometimes. I'd be so upset about it. I remember when I was in college, I actually went to a 3-year RN school, so my version of college, nursing school. Like you would get up in the morning and think, oh my gosh, we're starting all over again. I jump out of bed now. I love getting up. I have so many blessings. So what I discovered, 365 days of abundance, it's not talking about money. You'll get money on the backswing if you're living an abundant life. I really believe that.
Wow, that is just incredible. I love your outlook to life today. That's fantastic. And, I'm not sure. I don't think I know the 12 universal laws. What are the 12 universal laws?
Well, I'm the girl to ask that question too. The first one is the universal law of divine oneness, means God in us. In the Hindu culture, they will say namaste, I see God in you. Isn't that a wonderful thing for somebody to say to you? Namaste, I see God in you. And then think carefully when they say it back to you, because you're like, am I acting like God is in me? Like, I got to check my responses right here. The second one is vibration. Now, law of attraction, everybody knows, but you cannot have the law of attraction unless you have the law of vibration. Because think of vibration like radio stations. If you're in the car on a trip and you want to listen to country music like my husband does, you know which station is country music, and you're not going to get classical music on that station. Same way vibration is in your life. You are only going to attract to yourself what vibration you are on. So if you're in college and you're hanging out with all the people that don't go to class, guess what vibration you're on? You're not going to attract the prom queen to go out with. She's just not going to see you. This is the way that it is. And this has been true our whole lives. As a matter of fact, I won't forget the 12 universal laws, don't worry. You are living within the 12 universal laws by these laws, even if you don't realize you are. So isn't it much better to learn them?
Yes.
And use them for your benefit. So divine oneness, vibration, correspondence. Correspondence means how you're talking to your subconscious, because your subconscious rules your world, literally, in so many ways. And we'll talk more about that later. Then the law of attraction, the law of inspired action, that action that got me out of bed at 5:30 in the morning for 8.5 months. I haven't gotten up at 5:30 again since. That was it, that 8 months. Perpetual transmutation of energy. This is a harder one to understand. It literally means everything you can see is energy. The desk that this computer is sitting on is energy. It's just moving so fast that it turns it into a solid subject. The best example is water. If you put water in a tray and put it in the freezer, the vibrations will slow down and they will turn into ice. Or if you boil water and it turns into steam and it goes up in the air, turns into a gas, eventually all the lakes, just like the water, the gas rises up to the clouds, it stays up there, and then it comes back down as rain and snow, goes back into the ground, makes everything grow. It's this amazing transmutation of energy. It just keeps going and going and going. It'll make you wonder at the world every day, learning these laws. It's just amazing. Cause and effect. We kind of know that one, don't we? Law of cause and effect. Compensation. Now, all you college students, you go out there and you find Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay on compensation. It is the classic explanation of how this law works. It's hard to read. It's old English, but it's amazing. It'll change your life by itself. universal law of relativity. This is the one I use the most. Nothing is good or bad. Everything's neutral. Literally, everything that we experience in our life is by perception. And I've listened to some amazing TED Talks by guys who literally have tested the colors in your brain. Like your brain, if they touch a different area, the red will look blue. I mean, we're learning stuff we never knew that supports all these laws, but we just didn't know it before. Polarity, perpetual motion, and giving and receiving. That's all 12.
Wow. I love it. And now I learned something new today. So you see, I mean, this is fantastic.
And you're out of college.
And I'm out of college, right? Maybe I should have known this a long time ago. I don't know. But
I feel like I should have, yeah.
Now, people fail in life. I've failed at a million things and, I keep trying. So maybe that's why I'm successful, because I'm just going to get back up off the ground and be resilient. And I think that's what I'm trying to teach the college students. But when people fail, they often say, well, I was just unlucky. And you believe there's really no such thing as unlucky. So what is really holding people back?
Have you ever had a friend that was always sick, or her car always broke down? They were always short of money. They never had a date they could get a second time. Like we all have friends like that we would really say they were unlucky. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is, go back to the universal laws. They are attracting exactly what they're thinking about all the time. Job says in the Bible, the very thing I dreaded came upon me, because he was thinking about being sick and dying, and he got sick and died. Mm-hmm. And they have, if in all the reading that I did, Michael, I read real life accounts of people that got I'm sorry, frog in my throat, got a diagnosis of a disease. And a month later, the doctors came back to tell them that they didn't have that disease. They'd already died of the disease they thought they had. I know that's a stretch for young minds to take in, but we need to think about some of the things that have actually happened in history and what they mean to us today. So you're not unlucky. You need to start thinking a different way. Control your thoughts and attract to yourself the life that you want.
Wow, that's
Literally.
deep stuff. Yeah, I love it. I think that's fantastic. Now, I think many of us get angry or overwhelmed at times. We were talking about the Oscars and Will Smith's reaction, at the Oscars, right? I mean, so, let's talk about getting angry or overwhelmed. You have the 7 Ps to control your thoughts. What are the 7 Ps?
The best place to use this, the first time you use it, is in bad traffic, when that nasty driver cuts in front of you without even signaling or waving thank you. And you would like to go like, whatever curse word, I don't use curse words. I haven't ever, but some of us have some that we could pull out of our hat. And what it does is it totally changes the trajectory of your day. So now I'm going to give you the 7 Ps. Hang on. Now you got so mad at that you're swearing and your head is pounding and you're like, you want to roll down your window and do something that you're not supposed to do. But finally that guy's far ahead of you and you sit in the traffic and you're fuming by the time you walk in the house. Oh my gosh, you can't believe this guy, what he did to me, like literally almost crashed into me. And your wife says hello, or your husband says hello, and you snap at the kids. You're just irritable the whole rest of the night. Your wife says, you want to watch a show? No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go for a walk. Like you have made yourself miserable now. And now you've made your whole family miserable. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're going to end up going to work the next day just as miserable as you were the night before. You didn't do anything to fix that. So I'm going to teach you the 7 Ps of thought control. And I have used these so effectively that when somebody cuts me off in traffic, I wave at him and go, you really should have put your light on, I just don't get upset anymore. I really don't. So the first thing is take 3 powerful breaths. Then wear a rubber band on your wrist until you get this right and snap yourself. That actually hurts. It's just a reminder to get your thoughts in control. The third thing is say a quick prayer. There's no atheists in foxholes, so everybody can say a quick prayer. God, help me be calm. All it does is just reroute your brain a little bit. It just makes you stop, go another direction. The fourth thing is patience. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the last thing is develop positivity. Napoleon Hill says the most important thing that anybody can develop in their life is a positive attitude. That's 5. You're going, Jude, you're short 2. There's 7. The other 2 are ones that you should work on before you get in bad traffic, or before you blow up at your kids, or before you blow up at the guy at the dry cleaner because he wrecked your suit. Whatever it is, the last 2 are pattern practice, which means you need to make a pattern in your brain. Our brains have 100 billion neurons and little synapses and transmitters that move all the information around in there. If you want to have a new pattern for the traffic or the kids or the wife or the job, you got to build it. So I've literally sat here and practiced. I've gone breaths, rubber band, prayer, patience, positivity, breath. I've practiced them until they are just second nature. And then the last thing is paradigm shifts. Paradigms are what runs your subconscious. You have given the same message to your subconscious. Have you ever driven to work and not remember how you got there?
Yes.
Yeah, we all have. Sometimes it scares you. You're like, holy cow, like, I don't know how I got here. But those paradigms, I've done some of this work with my mastermind group, which is in Think and Grow Rich. You could read it there. And we have talked through our paradigms that we have. We're both older than the college kids. So we've got quite a few paradigms from the past. And bad paradigms that you don't want have to be worked on to get rid of. You have to recognize them. And then you have to work to look at things a different way the next time. And if you're in college, which all of your listeners are, you don't have as many paradigms. So it's not going to take you as long, which is really great. So that's the 7 P's of thought control. And I should have an addendum to it. The 7 P's of thought control, that will change your life.
No question about it. I definitely have the positivity part. I'm always a
Yes,
glass
you
half
do.
full kind of guy. So that's just who I am. That's innate, in me. That's how I'm hardwired. The rest of them, I have a lot of work to do. And I mean, if I could only control myself when that guy cuts me off, I mean, boy, oh boy, I would
Yeah,
love
you get yourself a really hardy rubber band and wear it on your wrist. It's going to do it.
All
You
right,
might
I'm
just
gonna
need
try
to do
it.
that one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to see if that helps. Because when that guy cuts me off, boy, oh boy, I mean, the New
I know.
Yorker in me really comes out.
Well, I forgot you came from New York, and like, there's nobody in New York that uses the rubber band. I'm sure of it.
I don't think not one person. That's great.
I had a taxi cab driver that literally almost run me over. I was on my cell phone walking across a crosswalk. I used to work up there.
Mhm.
He literally was going to run me over. Like I literally like jumped out of the.
Unbelievable.
They
Yeah.
no patience.
No patience, none, zero. Now, I know there's a lot of people, including myself, where we just kind of talk to ourselves throughout the day. So am I bananas, or is there a better explanation of what's going on here?
Well, we're probably all a little bananas, to be truthful, but you're not bananas. And talking to yourself doesn't mean you're bananas or crazy. It can mean you're doing yourself damage, but you should change it around to be positive autosuggestion. This term was coined by Emile Coué in the early 19th century. And he started a sanitarium where sick people would come, and he used autosuggestion to help them control their own thoughts to heal themselves. I know this is far out there, but this is absolutely gospel truth. You can get the book on Amazon because that's where I got it. He had them say, now this is easy. Everybody that's listening to you can write this down and do this every day for 30 days and see if you don't have better health. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I say it every night, every morning, 20 times, every night, 20 times. It takes no time at all. He literally never had, don't fall off your chair. Okay, Michael, don't fall off your chair when I tell you this. He literally writes in his journal, or actually his friend wrote the book about him, writes in his journal that he didn't heal anybody. All he did was teach them how to control their own thoughts, because he believed we make ourselves sick with our thoughts. It's a big concept to think about, but that's what autosuggestion does. So when I use autosuggestion most of the day now. Like I walked up to set my computer up upstairs so you have nice books in the back here and my book in the back so you can see it. Saying, I'm going to have a great interview with Michael. We're going to accomplish big things. We're going to help students think about ideas that can help them now and in their future. Now, I didn't say like, oh my gosh, is the computer going to work? Is the da 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 da? Because we literally, it's a law. We will attract what we think about.
Wow.
And that should scare the bejiminies out of a lot of people when they hear what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah, that scares me sometimes. Yeah, but I am mostly positive, and I do know that your wish for this interview is going to come to fruition. It is going to be wonderful, and you are going to help college students. There's no question in my mind. And so if our college student listeners, let's assume for a moment they find themselves later today in this world of negativity where, you know, everything is negative about their life, their job is terrible, their fraternity or sorority has more problems than what it's worth. What should they do if they find themselves with all of this negative talk in their head?
First of all, I want to acknowledge that in college or nursing school in those young years, it's not the easiest thing to do to be different than everybody is where you are, but you're only here for a short time. If you can do something now that will make a better future for you, it'd be worth being a little bit different. And so the first thing you should do if you're in a world of negativity, because we've all been there, not me so much anymore, I got to tell you, but we've all been there. The first thing I do, well, I started it at the very 2 years ago, before I even got into this writing the book and all these universal laws. I started it just learning to have a gratitude journal. You cannot stay negative if you're being grateful. So I'm sure somebody's listening to this saying like, she don't know what I got going on here. Like she really doesn't understand. Yes, I do. I have been broke. I have not known where the next dollar was coming from. I had open heart surgery and 5 strokes. I didn't know if I was ever going to walk again, work again, read again, write again. I have been there. I have been in those places. The fastest way out is write down, I am grateful I am alive. I woke up this morning and I'm breathing. I am grateful that I got sent to college and my parents are paying for it. I am grateful that I had 3 meals yesterday. I am grateful that I breathe okay. People that have COPD, it hurts to breathe. Like if you are just healthy and everything else is wrong, you just won the lottery. Like gratefulness, if you Google gratitude quotes, there are 10,000 of them. Gratitude will more quickly change your life than almost anything else. I write 10 things I'm grateful for every morning at breakfast, and I have for 2 years. Wow. Every day.
Yeah.
And if you're eating your Cheerios, if you're eating your Cheerios while you do it, it goes really fast.
I hope that every one of our listeners adopts that. I think we would be in a much better world if we just did that every morning. I think that's fantastic advice. And in the book, you also talk about the law of vibration. So how can our listeners attract the right people into their lives, into their organizations, such as the fraternities and sororities that they belong to?
That's a great question, because I was a hiring and firing manager for a big store in one of my careers. And we used to talk about how the resume looks so great. And then they get on the job and you're like, where's that person that was on the resume? Like, I need that person back, right? The only way to attract to you the mate that you want, the job that you want, the clients that you want, the show that you want, is to be that person yourself. You cannot attract anything that's not on the same vibration as you are. So if you're on the vibration of gratefulness, you're there so that somebody else that's on the vibration of gratefulness can say, oh, I need to talk to this person. Yeah, I'd go out with you. You're kind of like me. I feel good when I'm around you. And you do feel good when you're around people who are on the vibration of happiness and gratefulness and love. Love is the highest. There's have you ever heard of the Abraham Hicks emotional scale, guidance scale?
No, not yet.
Oh, another good thing to learn. Abraham Hicks wrote, I actually have it in my book, and I didn't steal his, I stole his words, but I made my own scale for it. Mm-hmm. And I have in production right now laminated cards. And if you have some students, I'll send you some and you can give them out to them. On one side, it's all the traffic words, it's all the negative words. And on the other side is all the things we're grateful when we are on that vibration, because love is the strongest vibration. So doing an act of love for somebody else when you are down in the dumps will turn your life around quicker than anything else.
Very nice. Very nicely said. You have this one really powerful quote in the book from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. What does all of that mean to you?
When you read my book, Michael, you will find that Marcus Aurelius is one of the best people to quote in history. That man was a thinker, and he thought good thoughts. That's the only way I can say it. What it means is, it's what I named my online course that: love your life, choose your thoughts. He's basically saying what the universal laws say is, nothing can be that you don't perceive it to be. Everything's neutral. So if I'm looking at anything, and it looks like it's horrible, bad, how are we on time? Can I tell you the Chinese parable?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, the Chinese farmer parable. There's a Chinese farmer, and he's got 2 horses and a son. The 2 horses run away. His neighbors walk by and they go, "Oh, no, that's horrible." And he says, "Maybe." The next day, the horses come back and bring 5 horses with him. Now he's got 7 horses. The neighbors say, "Oh, this is wonderful." He goes, "Maybe." So his son gets up the next morning to break one of the horses, and he falls off and breaks his leg. And the neighbors come by again and say, "That's terrible." The farmer says, "Maybe." The next day, the army comes by to conscript soldiers, and they want his young son, but they won't take him because his leg is broken. And the neighbors say, "What good luck?" And the farmer says, "Maybe." The moral of the story is, nothing is as it looks. Say maybe.
Wow.
Say maybe every time, because maybe there's good in everything. The law of polarity says everything has an opposite. So what could I look at when I had 5 strokes and didn't think I'd ever work again? You could say there's nothing good in that. Oh, yes, there was. I had 6 weeks of taking long 3-mile walks with my oldest daughter, whom I never get that much time to talk to. It was the richest gift that I could have had. There was good in that. The good in it is I can write this book because I have a story to tell. There's good and bad in everything. And if we could learn when we're 18 to 22 to look for the good, we would have amazing lives, because we just wouldn't be burdened down by all the negative crap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love that outlook. I think it's fantastic. Listen, I've had my share of failures and heartache and all of those things, but it all led me to here. So yes, are there problems? Are there stories where things didn't go the way that I wanted to? Yes, absolutely. These are the stories that I tell up on stage that the college students most relate to, because they're like, "Hey, I got those kind of problems too," right? And suddenly they're connected to me. So at the time, I was thinking, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Now I'm grateful because I have the story to tell up on stage to inspire other students.
Yeah. And see, you just said exactly what paradigm shifts are.
Yeah.
You learn to build new patterns. So now the next time you get in a bad situation, you can say, "Hey, what's good about this?" And say it right away, and it'll lower your blood pressure. The pounding headache will go away. You will kind of stand amazed. You're like, "Well, darn it, Judy was right. There's good in everything."
Yeah. There really is. That's so important. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your perspective. I think it's fantastic. Now, we do love good food here at the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. In Nashville, we've got great food. But I want to know, you've been living in New Alexandria, Virginia. So I'm wondering, the next time that I'm in Virginia speaking to one of the schools over there, what restaurant should I go and check out?
Oh my gosh, we have our own Cheers bar, Shooter McGee's. It's called Shooter McGee's. It's on Duke Street in Alexandria. Everybody knows your name. has a fabulous chef. The best half-price burgers on Monday nights you ever had. Don't miss it when you come to town.
I love it. Shooter McGee's, it sounds like my kind of place. I mean, if they're all saying my name as I walk in, I know that I've reached the right place to eat and have a few drinks. That is great. All right. So if our listeners, if they want to pick up your book, it's called 365 Days of Abundance. Maybe they want to bring you in as a speaker on their college campus. Where can they go in order to connect with you?
It's so easy. My website is Judy Balloff, BALLOFF.com. And on there, there's my contact information for booking speeches. You can order my book through the link there. It goes right to Amazon and makes it easy for you. So you just have to remember that one thing, judyballoff.com.
Man, I love it. So it's Judy. Last name is spelled BALLOFF.com. Go and check it out. Pick up her book, 365 Days of Abundance. I mean, wow, oh, wow. She will just change your perspective on life. And it's just, it's amazing. I really love the work that you're doing. I think it's so important for college students because I think many times they'll have setbacks. We all have setbacks. You've had setbacks. I've had setbacks. Like, we need to normalize that. And then start to look at, for the good in some of those things. And I think if the college students could get that perspective at an early age, I think they'll be better off than you and I.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I had learned all these 40 years ago,
right,
I could have missed some of those challenging situations that I didn't know how to handle. So I am incredibly grateful for the invitation to join you today. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, Judy. Thank you so much for being on the show. To our listeners, please, if you like Judy's talk today, please like it. Please share it with other college students on campus, on social media. And we hope to see you on another episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.